sew the seam to take our flat piece of knitting into the circle that we need to make our cowl. We have our darning needle here. This is the end that I ended up with when, when I cast off all these stitches. I'm going to thread that in here. Okay, notice the back side is where I have the little ends where I added the new ball of yarn. We want that on the back side here because we want that to be on the inside of our cowl. I'm gonna match up, here's the beginning. I'm gonna match up the ends. I'm gonna just get those other little ends out of the way. We'll deal with them later. We're just going to whip stitch these together. Just find the end. We'll put our needle in through there and in through right below where we have that little knot. Pull it through. Now I like to go through and match up the piece of yarn here and here. Now I'm going to look and make sure I have the same number on each side. So there's 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and then here's the end over here. Okay, so now I know where I'm going. I'm gonna pick up a little loop from one side, little loop from the other side, pull through, two loops. Just gonna keep going right on down, one from each side. I'm gonna pull this just a little bit so we don't have any loose ends. There we go, we've gone all the way through. Now what do I do with this end? This is what we're gonna do with all the ends. We are on, this is called the wrong side. This is the side that's going to be on the inside. So we're not so worried about how pretty this side looks. So we're gonna put all the ends on the inside, or the wrong side. Okay, we're going to follow the natural pattern that we already have in our knitting. So here's my end. We can see that there's a loop that goes in here, and then back up here, and then back down through. And you can see that loop. It goes under, then over, then under, then over. We're going to take this end and follow that pattern so that we're for two reasons. One, we're switching directions so that it's not going to easily pull out. The second reason is it looks nice because we're already following the natural pattern. We're not super concerned about how it looks, but I mean, we still want it to look nice. So we're gonna go down, follow the pattern back up and through here, and back down. So the yarn's gonna go through each one of these loops twice. Once when we go up, once when we come back down. There's no magic number for how many times you have to go up and down. You just want it to be multiple. I mean, somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 or 6. That way we've changed directions a few times. We don't want to pull it super tight or we'll create a pucker there. So I kind of like to just kind of move it around a little bit, give it a little bit of stretch. I'm going to cut the yarn off. We have a little tiny tail there, no big deal. Again, we're on the inside. Okay, this little piece was the piece from where we very first started. Same thing, I'm going this way. There's no reason I'm going this way versus this way. I don't want to do very many ends through the very same stitches that we just did, because I don't want to leave a real thick spot right there. So I'm just going to go this way instead. See how this one goes up, back down through. We're going to follow the same. Up, down, up, down, down, and then cut off the rest. We're still on the inside. One thing I wanted to show you quickly, right here, you can see we have a little end. When I was knitting, there was a knot in the yarn. This is something it's not terribly common, but it's not really uncommon either. It's just when during the manufacturing process, the yarn broke for whatever reason, and that's how the company fixes the problem. They'll just put a knot in there. It's not a big deal. It originally was on this other side of the knitting, and I just pushed it through to the back. And that's where it's gonna stay. It won't unravel. They usually tie those pretty tightly. Okay, so over here we have where we added the new ball of yarn. I've pulled it, given it a little tug, so it matches pretty much the other pieces of knitting. It's not really loose or really tight. I'm gonna thread the yarn through here. For this first stitch, we're on the right side. I'm gonna choose to just go down and start with our weaving in process. Little tug again. And then just same, we're gonna go up, down through that same loop right here. Up, down. Now we will remember when we added the new ball, we ended up with a little hole in the middle. So, a hole, what are we gonna do? We're going to go around it. Okay, so we're gonna go down and up. There's no little bump here where we would maybe expect one. So I am going to go back to this bump on the left. And up through the bump above. and then down and down to this bump. So we've gone around the hole, tighten that up a little bit, now it's gone. And then we're going to continue for a couple more. Give it a little tug. On this side, we've ended up with a little bit of a weird looking spot here, but let me cut this off. You won't see it on the other side, so it's right here. You can't even tell on this side here. That is it. We are done, friends. The last thing we need to do is turn it right side out. Here's our seam. You can see it, but you really have to look hard. And I just put that part at the back of my neck and you won't even notice. Your non-knitter friends probably couldn't even point it out. Now you're gonna have a photo shoot.